Chewie, have you seen my toupee? Someday I'm gonna have a big boy lighting set up. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at the Bandai Star Wars model kit Han Solo Stormtrooper. Now 93% of this kit is probably reuse. The Stormtrooper model kit was either the first or second model in the line several years ago. The build is fun as hell, and I still think that Stormtrooper is the best 6-inch Stormtrooper you can get. It looks fantastic, it has a vintage vibe to it, it's accurate, it's fun, it's proportional. I just love the damn thing, okay? I said for years we wouldn't get a human type character in the model kit line because of, you know, skin tones, shadow, eyes, lips. You'd have to do most of the work yourself, but Bandai seems to have found a way around that, hopefully. Hopefully this turns out great. Looking at the box, it's your standard model kit box. It has the pretty picture on the front, although this, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Kind of looks like they photoshopped Harrison Ford's head onto this Stormtrooper body. But it's the box. Who cares? On the side, a bunch of pretty promotional pictures. It shows all the different features. They got Han in a bunch of great poses right here. He does come with the Stormtrooper helmet that you can put on the trooper. So if you don't like the Han head, this is just another trooper kit. And we can all do with one more trooper, or 10. On the end, that same weird picture. On the other side, the big blown up promotional picture, Luke and Han together. I can't wait to get Luke. I haven't even built Han and I'm already excited. What's the next one? Over here, a bunch of unreadables, but they have translated most of it, so not as fun. On the end, bad photoshopped Han again. Looking inside the box, the big deal here is gonna be this. Okay, and maybe this. Here's the hair pieces too. The rest of the kit, I feel like I've done this 5 times before. Just looking at it in this plastic bag, it does look pretty good, but there's no context. There's no hair surrounding it. It's not on a body. So we'll see how that turns out. Articulation sprue. Like I said, I built that Stormtrooper kit before I even made a video for it, but I don't recommend going back and watching that because I was terrible. I can't even go back and watch myself. So hopefully this is a redeeming video for that.
Especially when it comes to Star Wars, everyone has their own, preferences, and I pick and choose from any line. Anything that looks good, I'll take.
And as always, I'm not going to film my whole build because nobody wants to be bored as shit as I go through it and screw up and back up and try to figure out how to put parts together. I skip instruction steps. Yeah, nobody wants that. But if I run into some snags that I can help out with, I'll record that, put it up on the video, and then after all that, after it's built, we'll take a look at the figure. Weird to have the kit essentially condensed down to 1, 2, 3 sprues for the body at least, and then you have the head parts. I'm used to having 5 strewn out here before, I haven't even got the instructions open yet. And the thing about the decals, or the decals as I've heard them called, most of them are on the helmet. It says feel free to apply the 15-16 markings wherever you wish. That's the Imperial cogs right here, and I've seen people put them on like the chest or the shoulder. I've never used them actually, so probably will not use those. And wow, they really went all out with the model kit aspect of it. There's the back hair, well, the back of the head hair, not back hair. Side, they have side, front. They cut the hair into 5 pieces, which is cool. And the face, okay, I'm not going to say too much until we get the hair on. Let me do that. I will say the few parts I've put together so far, they've went together with a satisfying snap. It doesn't feel like it's going to pop back off. Okay, it's not the most seamless thing I've ever put together. You can see right across here, and then hooping around, coming down. But they did put one of the seams right down the part, so at least it's a little bit hidden. And it looks better with the hair. The brown offsets kind of the printing. You're going to see tiny little pixels where it's kind of printed on, sprayed on, whatever the hell they did here. And you'll also notice that they printed the face, but the neck is left in a base plastic flesh color. So there's definitely a color difference there. But I figure most of the time he's going to be kind of cocked down a little bit, looking like that. So it's not going to, I don't know. It may bug me. Right now, I know for sure that the sheen is a little bit shiny. That was kind of hard to say. Sheev sells seashells down by the seashore. So I may do a wash on the hair, bring out the detail, and then hit this with a dull coat, kind of kill that sheen down a little bit. Okay, no problem so far. It doesn't seem like this is any different than the first Stormtrooper kit. Why would it be? That thing is plastic perfection. But I don't know if they re-engineered a couple of parts, not completely changed, changed, but kind of tightened up tolerances maybe. But the parts do seem to snap together really tightly. I've heard people complain that the parts come back apart a little bit. I have less fear of that here. I've never had a huge problem with it except for maybe with Grievous. Also looking at it alongside the first Stormtrooper, it looks like Han's leg is exactly the same. I was kind of thinking Han would have an extended hip piece right there to make it taller, but I'm thinking, which makes sense now that I think about it, Luke is going to get a shorter hip piece to make him short for a Stormtrooper. I don't know why I don't think these things through before I start recording. They didn't fix one of the problems I had with the original kit. The belt piece, the holster, you can put on the left hip or on the right hip. And that depends on what belt piece you use. The belt piece with the holster has a deeper cut right here. And if you use the belt piece that's not meant for the holster, you put it on and it doesn't want to stay on very well. It kind of pops off when you start using articulation. There's no lock to it. In fact, you can kind of see that it doesn't seat all the way, really, or I can't get it to, whereas this side is closed all the way around. To get around that, you have this extra piece right here. If you use the part that is meant for the belt on both sides, I should get a lock. I haven't tried this yet, but this is what I did on the original kit. Take that, push it together, and yeah, much better fit. It slides all the way up to the stop right there. So, still a flaw there. Instead of using B43 for this side, if you're putting the holster on the left hip, use B48 and put it on that side. For the arms, I like to put them in the socket before putting on the shoulder pad because I've actually broken one of those little clips before. The little piece in there, it didn't really matter because the way it's wedged in, and once you get it on there, the two pieces really had nowhere to go. But I still like doing it like this just because I guess I'm overprotected of shoulder pads. Just a clean look. I love this body. Okay, I'm done with the figure. I'm about to start on the helmet, and I noticed that the lenses were a little bit green. It's probably hard to see. Because I'm such a damn pack rat, I went back and checked my old boxes. I've kept the boxes, the sprues from most of the model kits. And the old model kits were 2 sprues, so I was full of shit there. Also, the old ones had the green lenses, but once you get them in the helmet, you can't tell. There's no light that shines through. They just look black. So I'm assuming they did Han first because he's just the Stormtrooper body, new head, but with Luke coming a month later, he's going to have new hip parts, wherever those came in, to shorten it down a little bit. But I did want to correct myself before everybody came along and said, the first one was 2 sprues. Can you not remember 2 years ago? No. I can't remember what I did earlier today. And there we go, all put together. And if you've built this kit before, either the original form or the Sand Trooper, or you've already got this, you know what a great figure this is. So going over the body looks great. Then getting up to the head, I'm just kidding. We're going to go over the body a little bit. I love the sculpt of this. Everything is sharp. Everything looks like a body under some white armor. And that's because the model kits are essentially all separate pieces coming together. It works beautifully for armored characters like this. And the Stormtrooper is one of the best out of this line because it's black and it's white. There's not a lot of colors in there to, you know, for separations or paint or decals. Well, until you get to the helmet, but we'll talk about that. I just love everything about the look of this kit. And then we get up to the head. And yes, it looks a little bit funky. This is pre-paint touch-up. This is pre-dull coat, so it's shiny. It kind of hides some of the detail that's been painted onto it. And I'm calling it painted. They're calling it something like triaxial jet finish. It sprays in from 3 different ways. It's not printed on. It's an actual paint spraying process. But it does look good for what it is. It looks better than just a straight molded in flesh color piece of plastic that you have to do all the details to. But later in the video, we're going to work on that a little bit, see if we can get something done about it. But the sculpt of it, yes, Harrison Ford's in there. It has its features. The hair is a little bit, I don't know. It's hard looking at so many figures of Han that we have at this point and say, that one's perfect, that one looks better, that one looks worse. Han is there. It's just, you have to kind of look for it. Now, like I mentioned during the build, the neck is in that just straight flesh color, so it looks kind of odd going from neck to head where they've painted in, you know, shadows, details, skin, whatever. And I keep saying it, if you've built this kit, you know what's going on here, but I'm going to go over some of the cool stuff, some of the bad stuff, just to get it out there. The forearm has a slide where you can bring it up and down. That's to give you more range of movement in the elbow. Without the slide, you get to about right. It's already sliding without me even knowing it. It's so tricky. Would come to about right there. With the slide though, you get up to beautiful elbows. With the model kit, yes, you have some lightness. If you're not used to that lightness, you'll pick it up and automatically go, this isn't an action figure. This is this is crap. It doesn't have the heft of a standard action figure, but it's worth it in the long run. But going over articulation, there's a dumbbell joint in the top of the neck and a kind of a ball joint at the bottom of the neck. With that, you can look down. Not all the way. It's because the concave up under the head isn't really deep. But you do get pretty nice tilt side to side, up, swivel. Ball joint at the shoulder going into a butterfly joint. You can bring that forward and get some more range of movement there. Because of the shoulder pad, you get out to about right there. It does swivel all the way around. You know what? I lied. How about this? If you kind of pull at the hinge that's in the shoulder and down on the ball joint, you can get the shoulder out of the way, and he does go out to 90. I didn't think that was right. Elbow, we already talked about the sliding forearm. You bring it up, and it comes up to about right there. Little bitty ball joint in the wrist with a swivel, so it gets back and forth a little bit, up and down a little bit, swivel. Ball joint in the mid-torso, and then at the waist, so you come forward, you go back, got a little tilt, swivel. Drop down hip. This piece right here isn't as soft as I would like it to be, but you can still come forward with it. Back out to about right there. Swivel at the thigh. It's nicely hidden by the armor. Knee joint comes out to about right there. Hinge at the ankle, goes back, goes forward, and then forward facing pin for rocker. Oh, and there's also swivel at the ankle, just in case you want some extra movement. For accessories, Han comes with alternate hands. He comes with two open hands, kind of relaxed or holding the weight of the weapon. He comes with a pointing left hand, a fist right hand. I kind of want fists on both sides, but you just get the right. Then you get a right and left trigger finger hand, which I always leave on the weapon because you have to split it apart to put it on the gun. And while we're at that, here is the E11 blaster. He comes with this pistol, nice and basic, and then he comes with this rifle, which looks pretty good, but when it comes to Stormtroopers, I only care about the E11 for the most part. And to switch out hands is just a peg. There's no mushroom, there's no pop, there's no nothing, but because this is a rubber piece and fairly tight, the hands have no problem staying in. And then lastly, he does come with the Stormtrooper helmet, which, again, if you have this kit, you know exactly what you're getting into here. It looks fantastic, but on the original Stormtrooper kit, the brow was a fixed piece. You can't slide it up and down. Whereas with the Sandtrooper kit, that was a separate piece on front. You could raise it up, bring it all the way down to the eyes. Plus it has a longer neck piece on the Sandtrooper. It allows for the pauldron. But if you put it on a standard Stormtrooper, it gaps it up a little bit, puts the head up a little bit, makes it more proportional. Where the original kit neck for the standard Stormtrooper, a little bit short, less gap, looks like he's kind of hunched up a little bit. Being me, I couldn't make anything easy. This is actually the Sandtrooper body with the original Stormtrooper helmet. This is the original Stormtrooper body with the Sandtrooper helmet. I have two of these made to make my perfect version of the Stormtrooper, and I have two of these just to flank them. And now I have the Han Stormtrooper if I wanted to just leave him as a trooper. I did opt for standard decals. I didn't do the water slides because I figure I'm leaving it as Han. This is just an accessory just hanging there, so I didn't care too much about the painted on look. That doesn't really have a lot to do with the current kit I'm reviewing, but I thought I'd throw it out there. And to switch that out, you pull here, the whole neck piece comes out with Han's head, and then the Stormtrooper helmet comes with a neck piece. You can plug it in there, and there you go. And with that on, it has a surprising amount of movement. You can get shift, side, forward and back. It looks down a little bit, looks up, and a little bit of tilt. Now, I was talking about the proportions. You can take that helmet and not plug it in all the way, if I can find the hole again, and just leave it kind of floating on top, and that gives you a longer neck look if you want that. But before I get to the final thoughts, I'm going to take this Han head, maybe dry brush the hair a little bit, give the whole head a shot of dull coat, and see if I can knock down some gloss and see what that looks like. And whoa, it did make a difference. I thought when I went to do it, it would be like, you know, it just changed it just a little bit, but it makes it a lot more, I'm not going to say lifelike. In fact, it makes it kind of look more doll-like, but the details come out at you a lot more without the gloss just blaringly, hey, I'm here in your face. On his face, in your face, at our faces, in my face. I thought this is going to be a long, boring process. I'm not even going to film this. It took all of like 5 minutes. Now you can see I went and hit the hair just a little bit. I didn't get crazy. I just wanted to add a little extra layer of detail there. So I came back with a layer of caramel, or caramel, depending on where you are in the world. Dry brushed over that, and then I dull coated the whole thing, which I think helped the most. And then I came back and punched in the eyes with a little bit of floor wax, give it just a little bit of gloss. I think that seals the deal for me. Seals the deal? For comparison, here he is with the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Stormtrooper, and I don't really have anything against the Black Series Stormtrooper. It just looks a little bit marionette-ish next to the model kit. The model kit just flows a lot better. It's more human-like. But if you're doing a battle scene, some ACBA, something, you can mix and match these pretty nicely. They're about the same size. Here he is with the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Han Solo. I kind of like the model kit head better. Neither of these really nail Han, but between the two, I'm going to go model kit. And I'm going with this because I never got the Han Trooper in the Black Series line, which makes this model kit work out even better. And then finally, here he is with the SH Figure Arts Han Solo with the Casting Cave custom head. Now, you're not going to beat a completely hand-painted head that's been chosen specifically for the likeness of Han. But you know what? For that trash compactor scene that I may have on my shelf one day, I have no qualms about using this model kit. So at the end of the day, I knew I'd like it. It's a kit that I've loved for several years now. Getting more of that, no problem at all. But I was mostly interested in the Han head. And for what it is, it doesn't disappoint. Like I said, it doesn't nail it. And this paint finish thing, it's not perfect. In fact, it makes it look a little bit dirty, maybe a little bit pixely. Not as pixely as a printed face when you get right up super close macro style. But there are a few splotches and spleeches? What the hell are spleeches? But like I said, I never got the Black Series Han Trooper or Luke Trooper, and it was like Bandai went, you know what? Here's a gift for you. And I will gladly take that gift. But even if I didn't like the Han head, I knew I was going to be completely happy having another one of these Stormtroopers on the shelf. If I didn't, this would make 5, and I have no problem whatsoever having 5 or 105 of these. I wish I had 105. I wish I had the time to put 105 together. But don't do like your Uncle Robo and go out and spend too much money importing this from overseas. Bluefin now has the license to bring these in, and most of the domestic sites have pre-orders for most of the model kits that have come out so far, including these up for pre-order. The Bluefin releases should start hitting within the next month, somewhere in there, and it'll also be hitting Barnes & Noble and everywhere else that you can get the Dragon Ball Z figurized standard kits or the Bandai Star Wars vehicle model kits. Save yourself some money. But doing what I do and being as impatient as I am, especially when it comes to Star Wars figures, I'll be doing the same thing for Luke next month. Just be patient. Both of these will hit U.S. shores in a couple of months at least. Then you can get the Grievous kit, and the Darth Vader kit, and the Boba Fett kit, and I wish they'd come out with an IG-88 kit, and a Forlom kit, and a Zuckuss kit. Get yourself some droids. I love this line. That's what I'm trying to say. I love most things in this line. The Biker Scout is superior to any other of the Biker Scout figures I have, and Han Trooper here makes a fine addition to that shelf. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh. Yeah, the best thing about these is that they are in scale. They're actually bigger than SH Figure Arts figures, closer to scale with the Black Series figures. It's kind of crazy how that happened. You would think Bandai would, at least talk within the offices and say, hey, what size are you doing those? Okay, we'll match up with you. Nope, it doesn't work that way. It works out in our favor.